Good afternoon, Mason County. We're here at Community Co-Lab here in Allen. I'm sitting here with Emily today. We just want to introduce through a series of a couple of interviews the different commissioner candidates for District 1. I'm one of the two candidates. I'm William Harris. And with that, I turn it over to Emily to talk about the upcoming forum.
You took my job.
I know.
No,
Well, no, you still
I'm
you
just
have
teasing.
the forum on the 5th.
We are hosting, the Allen Community Association is hosting a forum up at the clubhouse in Lakeland Village on September 5th, and we're going to be having both of the candidates for county commissioner. So we look forward to seeing everybody there in support of our candidates. So, well, how are you today?
I'm doing great. Thank you, Emily.
Great.
And congratulations to you and your husband. Baby new boy.
Yep.
Both mom and baby are healthy. That's what's important.
Absolutely. Yeah, he is a angel baby. So we're really fortunate.
Good.
Yeah, absolutely. And it's fun to have a boy in the mix. He's the first one in both sides of our family.
Excellent.
So it's pretty exciting. Yeah, absolutely. So let's get to know you and the man behind the sign. So
Okay.
tell me a little bit about growing up in the Pacific Northwest.
Excellent. Well, so I grew up in Puyallup,
Mm-hmm.
and so I grew up in Puyallup, but the family has more ties to the Pacific Northwest, and we'll talk about Mason County in particular. So Dad was born and raised in Seattle. Mom grew up in Everett. And I just want to share a picture with everyone. This young man, this is on a summer vacation out here in Grapeview. And so this young man actually is my father, and it's probably about 1943, 1944 in this picture.
Oh, that's
And
awesome.
but that's how Dad got to be exposed to what was Mason County, and eventually his home in a lot of ways. Here's one a couple of years earlier. He's the little boy at the bow of the boat, and with his brothers, his mom and dad, and his aunt. And
So cool.
yeah, it is. And so Dad spent a lot of time out here, and quite similar to him, I was introduced to Mason County the same way. 30 years after this was occurring, Dad and our Cub Scout then at the time in 1972 drove along North Shore Road out to the Boy Scout camp, Camp Ahobus, one Friday evening. We spent a weekend, as from my perspective, grand adventure.
Yes.
It was pitching tents, having a fire, cooking foil meals, collecting
best.
some oysters, just simple stuff.
Mhm.
And that's how I grew up, and it's fun because we keep repeating this tradition. 30 years later, in 2000, my folks by then had a home out in Tahuya, and my wife and I had our 4 children out there.
Okay.
And then even as recently, and I just have to share this one since you shared. We got to talk about Lincoln a little bit.
Yes. Oh, how
This
precious.
is Scotty Rose. This is our newest granddaughter. She was 19 days old at this point.
Oh.
And this is actually on election day.
Oh,
So
how precious.
yeah, this is before the results, and at least I like to think she's telling me, Dad, Grandpa, don't worry, it'll be okay. That's
Absolutely.
my side of the story. At
I
least.
love that. I think she absolutely is saying that. Look
Yeah,
how
no.
she's just cuddling you. And,
I know.
Yeah.
She's down to sleep.
Oh,
And my
how
wife is
precious.
going, I wish it was me in there.
I know, absolutely. Those are the moments that you
Yeah, no,
just cherish
it's
forever.
a good one.
Yeah.
So that's how the family has been here. Well, I say I've been here for literally 50 years in the county.
Yeah.
But after I graduated high school, went to college down at St. Martin's again right here.
Yeah.
And out of college, 2 really big things happened. First and foremost, I met my wife of now 40 years.
That's a big thing.
It is a big thing, a real big thing, yeah. It's nice to be married to your best friend.
Mm-hmm.
And then out of there, I got a degree in civil engineering, and then I entered our Air Force.
Oh,
And
okay.
at that point, that service to our nation pulled me outside of Washington State for basically the next 30 years, and that's
Wow.
a combination of we had 2.5 decades in the service, and then we spent some time in Las Vegas getting our kids through school and not having a son do 3 high schools and things like that. So
Absolutely.
that kept us away, but then we're right back home.
right back home.
Yeah.
And now you and your family are living up, or you and your wife are living up in Lakeland
That's
Village,
correct.
and that's your forever home.
That is the anchor is set and it's not moving.
Oh,
It's,
I love that. Just embracing yourself in this community.
No, absolutely.
Yeah.
It's
Wonderful. So what, thank you so much for your service, by
Thank
the way. We really appreciate it. And with that, expand a little bit on your service and your and the roles that you took in the Air Force.
okay, great. Yeah, so where do you start? Well, I tell a lot of people, I think it was really exciting. As a second lieutenant, I thought I was king of the world.
Mm-hmm.
I had two people that worked with me, a master sergeant and a young airman, and I had a budget of $25,000. And I said, I'm in charge of something.
Yes.
Little did I know how the service would grow you. And so every couple of years you move. And literally my wife and I moved 11 times in 24 years. We spent 3 years in Germany, a couple in the Azores, that's part of Portugal. We spent 3 years in Okinawa. And then I have another year and a half or so, most of it in the Middle East. And as you move, every job is more responsibility. So what was a couple of people then became an organization of 30 responsible for design and construction.
Oh, wow.
A group of 80 responsible for the maintenance and operations. Then in a squadron commander, I had over 800 people, 80 million a year. And the fire department, explosive ordnance disposal, you had the entire maintenance, the entire public works section,
Wow.
and entire maintenance in the entire base. And it was just an amazing opportunity. It was in that event, during that time, September 11th, 2001 occurred. Suffice to say, it was a lot of excitement. That's the only way to put it.
Right.
And quite literally, in a matter of a few hours, we went from what seemed a fairly calm period to, because we were in Okinawa, Japan at the time,
Oh, my goodness.
through a lot of protective facilities. And it was a very fluid, a very exciting time. And my wife and kids may have some differing words, but that's what it was.
Yeah.
And then my last assignment in the service, 1,000 people, $100 million a year, about $145 million equivalent in today's dollars.
Oh, my goodness.
But you're responsible for the public works, all the engineering design, supply, transportation, billeting, food services, and all the security for the Nevada Test and Training Range. There was we had literally 2 bases that I was responsible for. And so there was a lot of travel, a large geographic area, a lot of different demands with different customers and clients. So I think of that, and I look at being a county commissioner, and like, there's so many, so similar, very, very different clientele, if you will, very different customer base here.
Mm-hmm.
But a lot of the needs are the same.
Right, absolutely. It's about the people.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And with military background, we all know it's about execution.
It's about getting the project done. A plan is great, but if I can't take a design and actually make an update to a road to where you can drive on it, it's a great plan, but it doesn't help the community.
Right.
And we have so many challenges in front of us, and we need to get to a point where we're getting into solution space and delivering for the community.
Yes, absolutely. Well, I'm sure that we would all appreciate that.
Yes.
Yeah.
No, absolutely.
Yeah, absolutely. And so, after your service in the Air Force, you have a couple degrees. Is that correct?
Correct. Yeah. So I have a bachelor's in civil engineering from St. Martin's College.
Okay.
I have a master's in engineering in geotechnical, so soils and pavements.
Right.
That's from the University of Illinois. I also have a master's degree out of Air War College in strategic studies. So that's really a look at a combination of cultures and then execution of strategic planning sort of at national level. A lot of it's associated with how do we help the United States, promote her goals and values globally. And that, again, this is following the direction of the president. The military does not do this solo. This is at the direction of the president, in line with what Congress wants us to be doing. And we follow those guidances. But we spent a year learning and really exploring the world in that process and cultures.
Wow, how interesting. Yeah. And you have a business that you kind of put on hold
Quite literally, that's
to do this campaign and do it right.
correct. Yeah. So I run. If you will, I'm the president of the company. The company is myself and my wife.
Okay.
But I do consulting and project management, primarily supporting the Department of Energy at Los Alamos National Lab. So we work on
Oh, wow.
large construction projects ranging from a couple $100 million to $1 billion. And it's all about my primary role is pulling team members together, helping them put a plan together,
Mhm.
and then helping them execute it. So it's putting the appropriate controls in place so we know, it's as simple as taking a trip. So you and I decide to go on a trip. We're going to drive from here down San Francisco.
Yep.
So how far are we going to go each day? How much is it going to cost for gas, for food, all those pieces and parts. And we're putting the tools in place. So as the project team is working an $800 million project,
Yep. It can
are they
happen
on
fast.
schedule?
Mhm.
Are they on budget? And if not, are they moving faster or slower? Are they spending more or less? And most importantly, why? So now you can start to adjust the team to
Right.
where they can then get back on schedule or maintain that lower budget profile that they have. And that's
Yeah.
what I do. But you're correct. That is on hold. Mid June, that was put on hold. I'm 100% into the campaign.
Mhm.
If I win, I will likely close the business out, but I'm certainly, worst case, I will simply, if you will, do no work.
Right.
But I will not do that in office. It is a full-time job, and I want to be very focused on that, not distracted.
Yeah, absolutely. How has the campaign been so far?
Good.
I mean, I'm sure it's emotionally, physically, just kind of adventure for you, honestly.
It's a good adventure.
Yeah.
It's an opportunity to meet a lot of people that I have
Mhm.
in the past. I've knocked on a lot of doors, and just the stories. And the biggest thing is the challenges.
Yeah.
The good news stories are fantastic, but we have so many of our community members, frankly, they're really struggling.
Mhm.
Many are on fixed incomes or they're
Right.
retired. And inflation is a major factor. And we see that at the pumps, we see it at the grocery store,
Yeah,
we
we
see
do.
that at our property taxes. I understand the rates aren't higher, but my assessed value is bottom line, I'm paying more. And they're really
Mhm.
struggling. I've run into a couple folks who they're in their 70s and one of the two have gone back to work simply to make ends
Oh.
meet. And it's just heartbreaking
It is,
to
yeah.
talk to couples like that. And it's what can we do? And it's very complicated
Yes.
question.
Absolutely. That is complicated. Well, just kind of a fun question here. A wise man once gave me a really great interview question
Okay.
to ask. Are you a leader or a manager?
Well, I'm going to answer that one simple. Okay. And that is, I'm going to define leadership and management. And this is simple for me. You lead people, you manage things. I'm both. Okay. And I look at leadership as defining a vision. Where are we going to go as an organization? That's where it's sort of like that strategic studies. Where are we headed? What do we need to do? Okay. And then their role as a leader is to get the resources. That's primarily dollars so we can hire the right people, get the right materials, get the right equipment. You then delegate that to the people, and then you turn around as a leader. You're lead following or sort of getting out of the way. If you're leading, you're the one out front, blocking and tackling, removing the obstacles.
Mhm.
If the path is clear and the folks who are doing the work can handle the obstacles, you're at their side. You're the cheerleader along the way, or you're behind them, following them. You never let them go totally. There's always a follow-up to make sure they're not running into problems. If you will, am I on track? Am I a little ahead, a little behind? Where do they need the help, the nudge, the cheerleading to get it across the line?
Love it. Yep. Sounds exhausting.
It is when it's done right.
Right.
Yeah.
Absolutely. So, how does Will Harris relax?
How does Will Harris relax? Quiet movie with a wife is
Yeah.
always nice. Sitting back and saying our prayers together. That's we
Amen.
like to say the rosary together. Fishing is always very nice for me. It's very peaceful.
Have you fished up in Lake Anderson?
I have. I've picked up a few trout along the way, so it's
Very
a lot of
nice.
fun. It's for me, it's catch and release primarily, and I really like spending time in a small greenhouse out back. But we have a
Very
good
cool.
lot of tomatoes and raspberries, and it's totally peaceful. I'm into picking up weeds and not thinking about other stuff, so it's very
It's
relaxing.
important to have things like
Yes.
that kind of tune your mind out.
Decompress.
Yes,
Yeah.
absolutely. Well, thank you so much for joining us here today. And
Thank you very much, Emily, and thank you very much to the Community Collab for hosting this. I look forward to watching this and see how I do, and likewise my opponents. So
Yeah, absolutely.
No,
Well-
thank you very much.
We appreciate you.
All right.
And
Thank you.
yes, absolutely. Thank you for watching. And don't forget to like, subscribe, comment, and tune in to Community Collab 360.
風を集めて